Hello, everyone, and thank you for stopping by. So, I watched Jurassic World Rebirth yesterday. And before I did, I heard a lot of people talk about it, and it kind of got dunked on a lot, and a lot of people were talking really negatively about it. Like, the stuff I was hearing, I was like, going into this is going to be the worst movie I've ever seen, apparently. So, I watched it myself, and I decided to make this video discussing whether this movie is worth watching. So I will say I'm going to get into spoilers, but before I get into spoilers, I'm going to kind of do a quick overview for those of you who want to kind of know if you should watch it, but you don't want spoilers yet. But I will let you know before I start making spoilers. My first general overview of the movie is it's not as bad as people made it out to be. It's not as good as like the Jurassic Park originals, but it's not a terrible movie. Like people said it was a snooze fest and it was like terrible. I didn't think it was a bad movie. It didn't feel like a real Jurassic Park movie, but I feel like it was a good movie. And maybe I'm just biased because I like dinosaurs and this movie had dinosaurs in it. But ultimately, I feel like the show did a lot right, but it also did almost just as much wrong. And this isn't spoiling too much, but every character that dies, you don't care about. So it just kind of has this whole thing about, oh, these people are dying, and it means a lot to the characters, but to you as the viewer, you don't really care about the people that are being eaten. And I will get more into this when I start talking about spoilers, like the details. But overall, the character development, I feel like it's kind of good and kind of bad because the main two characters, like Scarlett Johansson's character and the other guy, I can't remember his name, but they have really good chemistry and I really enjoy watching them. But like everyone else, it's just like, it's such a drag. But also, like these other actors, I've never heard of them before. And then you have Scarlett Johansson, which is kind of like a legendary actress. So maybe she just kind of was put with the wrong people. Who knows? But there are a lot of good scenes in this. Like the dinosaur scenes that are in it are really cool. You do need to get over the fact that there are like mutated dinosaurs, and like I almost want to say that's a spoiler, but you've probably seen all the dolls and the action figures and the trailers. But I know a lot of people didn't like the mutated dinosaurs that they've added into this movie. But just a quick overview before I get into spoilers. The movie's really good if you can get over a lot of like small hiccups. And then there's a lot of hiccups. There's a bunch of them. There's a lot of issues. The main story is really good, but a lot of the execution and choices that the characters make are just really stupid and it's kind of frustrating at times. But I think the movie is worth watching if you can get out and go watch it. In other words, if you want to go watch this, go watch this. It's worth watching. It's not as bad as people are making out to be. But at the same time, if you want to wait for it to come out on DVD or on the streaming platforms, I also understand it's not one of those movies where I'm going to say like you have to watch this in theaters because this movie is just epic and legendary. But if you can go on a $5 Tuesday or a dollar theater, go do it. I probably wouldn't pay $20 to go watch this movie. It's probably not that good if that kind of gives you an idea. But if you like dinosaurs, you'll like this movie. It's really, you can't go wrong with dinosaur movies. And like, I don't know, I've been in a lot of communities that follow like Jurassic Park and dinosaur movies, and I can see a lot of people on there that forgive any sort of dinosaur movies. Even if it's like this movie with terrible CGI, like people will just appreciate it. But anyways, at this point, we're going to jump into spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, be sure to save this video and come back after you've seen it and we can discuss further. But if you have seen it or you don't care about spoilers, we're going to go right on ahead. So let's jump right into it. So I'm going to talk about the actors and their chemistry before I jump into the plot and all of my issues with that. But with the actors, I feel like I said, like with Scarlett Johansson's character, I feel like she was really good. Her and Dr. Loomis have this kind of like flirty, like she's the really hot mercenary girl and he's this nerdy dinosaur geek, but they kind of like have this attraction for each other and it's kind of like an interesting chemistry. And I feel like they do that really well. And also the guy that's on screen right now, Kincaid, I feel like he was really good and I really enjoyed him. But that's really about where it stops of characters I actually liked. The other characters, like they're supposed to be like these really tight mercenaries where they've worked together for so long and they really care when each other get killed. But like I said, as the viewer, you just don't really care about these people that are getting picked off. Like they have the character named Atwater, and I feel like he would have been a really cool character, but they just really didn't have too much screen time of him. And so when he dies, you don't really miss him throughout the whole story. And the one chick, I had to look up her name, is Nina. She gets eaten by one of the Spinosauruses. Like, I didn't even know her name. I didn't know where she came from. I didn't even remember her before they got to the boat. And it's just like when she gets killed, everybody's like, no! And she has this like red handkerchief and the guy like grabs it and he's like, no, oh my gosh, Nina's dead. And it's just like the rest of us as the viewers, we're just like, oh, she's gone. Who saw that coming? Like it was like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, I don't know. Then they have the red bandana and he like keeps it and he's just like, oh, Nina's gone. Oh no. Well, I'd have to go back and rewatch it to see if they even mentioned her name before. But it's just like, oh no, nameless character died. Oh well. Just as a viewer, that's all you really see, or yeah. But believe it or not, she's not even the character we cared about the least amount. So there's a second black guy beside the main character, and his name's like Leclerc or something like that. I have a picture of him up now. But if you've seen the movie, he's the guy that gets eaten by the Quetzal. But like this character, like we just do not care about him. Like we forget he exists half the time. And at the same time, the characters in the movie forget that he exists half the time. Like, for example, when the Spinosauruses and the Mosasaur are attacking the boat, they drive it into the shore and like beach the boat. And before they do, the guy tells everybody to jump off the ship so that they don't get hurt on the impact. And they get in and then they hit the shore. And the guy's like, oh, is everybody all right? And then he opens up the hatch and this Leclerc guy's like down below and he's like, oh God, what happened? And it's just like, they just forgot about him now. They're like, oh, sorry, I should have told you to jump off too. It's just like, we completely forgot you were down there. Sorry, buddy. But it's like when he's getting eaten by the Quetzal as well, just like nobody seems to care. Like when the other two mercenaries died, it was like this big deal. Like, oh no, my best friends, they've died. But before he gets killed, the Scarlett Johansson and the other guy are in the Quetzal's nest and it's like attacking them. And then the Quetzal like kind of hears the other guy outside and goes outside and starts chasing him up the mountain. And the two are just kind of like, oh, thank God he left us alone. He's going after the other guy. Oh, well, nobody cares about him. And the other two people start pulling him up and then they get to the top and he's like getting eaten. And they're just like, oh, well, shit, I guess he's gone. And they just run away and leave. And then he gets mentioned no more. They're just like, he's dead. He's gone. Nobody cares. He's gone. Rip Leclerc. But I will say, I actually really enjoyed that scene where he gets eaten because it's like they're pulling him up to the rocks and you think like maybe he'll get away and they're like pulling him up and then suddenly he gets to the top and he's in the Quetzal's mouth and you're like, oh shoot. Like you don't see the Quetzal actually scoop him up. Like they're pulling him up to the top and he gets to the top and he's in its mouth already. So like you kind of had this hope of that maybe he will survive, but then he doesn't. And I feel like that was executed really well. And the next kind of part, we'll go into the next part I want to talk about, which is the plot and kind of my issues with the plot. But leading into that, the whole like characters of the family, I feel like they're kind of relatable characters and you like them, but I feel like they added like the child just because they wanted to have like drama of there being a child on the island. And she gets this like little pet like Triceratops thing. I don't know what, it's like some kind of mutated thing. But you know, they just did that to sell plushies. Like, I don't know, that kind of stuff just kind of frustrates me sometimes. But I don't know, you don't really care about their story. And like, other than the scene like right now where they're getting chased in the boat down the river, that scene's really cool and I really enjoyed it. But other than that, you don't really care about their story and like their whole plot. And the girl's boyfriend's just kind of trying to be like comedic relief, but he's not very good at it. I don't know. I feel like if you just eliminated the family being there at all, like in general, the story wouldn't have lost any kind of luster. The story wouldn't have been any worse, any better, or anything like that. And when you get to the point where I could just like honestly and without a doubt say that, you know that the scene or the plot or whatever doesn't have a very good base and it's not very good. But anyways, that moves right into the next thing I want to talk about, which is just the plot in general. I kind of like their idea of going back to the island because they needed to get DNA from the dinosaurs. And like, you know, for the health reasons in order to come out with like a cure for stuff. I thought that was really good. That was fine. I had no real issues with like the main plot of the entire story. It's just kind of a lot of their execution and like the decisions the characters make are just kind of really dumb. Like this company hires 4 mercenaries to go do this job and they pay them probably, I think it was like, I don't remember the exact number. I know they offered her $10 million, but then I don't know if they were going to pay the others a certain amount. But they also just offered to double it. So it, like, let's just say that it was going to be like probably around $30 million they're paying 4 mercenaries. There's a lot of things that you could buy for $30 million. You could have bought like a whole private army to go and do this and just like completely like grab the dinosaurs, sedated them and done it with a whole crew rather than just going into this place where you know there's mutated dinosaurs. Like the human bad guy says that he knows that there's mutated dinosaurs and he doesn't tell them until it's like too late. But like even in the second Jurassic Park movie, they get like a decent amount of people to go and help them capture these dinosaurs. They just kind of did the same concept. It would have been a lot smarter, I feel like. And I do know in the movie they say like, oh, we don't want a lot of people knowing about it because of secret, hush, hush. But like they did mention that like the Coast Guard doesn't even like patrol the island or anything like that. I think at one point Kincaid mentions that like nobody patrols the island because it's so dumb for anybody to go there. Nobody would go there, so they don't patrol it. They don't care to. But while we're talking about this whole like they should have brought more people, I want to kind of bring up another point that I feel like would have made this movie a lot better. So I'm going to compare it to King Kong, the Peter Jackson 2005, I think was the year one. But when they go exploring the island, they bring like a pretty good group of people, like 30 people. And it's just kind of fun to watch the people get picked off by all these different monsters and stuff. And I feel like if they did like that kind of thing, like, let's be honest, we're watching a dinosaur movie. We want to see people get eaten by dinosaurs. And I feel like the more that you have in it, the more people are actually going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to go on and say like, oh, that would fix the plot. That would make everything else better if they had more people that they could just cast into the darkness to die. But I feel like it would have made it a lot more interesting than just having 4 mercenaries where half of them get picked off at the beginning of the movie. Like before they even get to the island, 2 of them are gone. But anyways, that's my take on that. I feel like it would have been a lot more interesting if they brought more people, and it would have made a lot more sense as well. And I'm going to nitpick a few scenes, but there's a lot of scenes and I could make this an hour and a half long video nitpicking everything, but I'm just going to pick a few. But one thing that really annoys me is like they hired these mercenaries for like security and to go do this job, but like nobody brought weapons. Only the one guy brought a gun, and it's a dart gun, and he's the first that goes. So like they lose their one weapon, their one way to fight back, gone in the first little bit of them being there. And like I know that most guns would be useless against these dinosaurs, but I would have brought something like a deer rifle, a handgun, something. Like they just don't have any sort of weapons after that one guy dies. And I'm sorry, if you're paying me $20 million to go to an island to go and get DNA from the 3 largest dinosaurs that are alive, you bet your sweet bippy I'm going to bring a weapon. I'm going to be freaking ready. You know, because like, you know, I would do almost anything for $20 million, but I wouldn't go on an island unarmed. I mean, like ask for $1 million of it up hand, like forward, and then go use that to go buy a really awesome weapon that could take down a dinosaur. I don't know. Maybe that's just me overthinking it. And the next thing I want to nitpick a little bit is when Nina dies. I just feel like that is so stupid and she needlessly died. Like I said earlier, they all jumped off the boat and they swim to shore. Loomis comes to the shore and starts yelling, they're amphibious, so we need to get out of here. Like they can come on land. We need to get the hell out of here. But then they all just kind of start packing up all their gear and taking their time. And she's pulling gear onto shore and she gets taken away while they're doing it. Like, because I kind of like dinosaurs. I would say I know that a Spinosaur can come on land and water. But if I didn't know dinosaurs could come on land or water, I didn't know anything about them, and the guy's saying they're amphibious, they could come on land, I'd be getting the hell off of that shore and not just be hanging around, getting all the gear. I'd be watching it at least, like making sure nothing's coming up on me, because it's like, that's the last thing I want. But like 60 seconds after he says that they can come on land, she just has her back to the ocean, just pulling something to the shore, doesn't really care. And then, oh, when you know, she's gone. But anyways, the next scene I want to nitpick is the stupid girl. I don't remember her name. I'll look it up real quick. So her name's Teresa. She's the daughter of the guy that's with the family. But before like the chase scene going down the river with the T-Rex, she does something so stupid. So her dad has a hurt leg, and they see a boat over across the river. And she goes to go get the boat, and then they realize that the T-Rex is there like after she's already there. And then she goes and the boat's like destroyed, but then she finds that life raft that you see in the scene. But the T-Rex is asleep, and she decides that it's a great idea to put the life raft right in front of the T-Rex's face and then open it, which ends up waking up the T-Rex. And luckily the T-Rex is retarded, and he doesn't see that there's a life raft with the girl right in front of him. He ends up just turning around and walking the opposite direction. But like, how hard would it have been to take it in the river, drag it back to her family, go down river a little bit, then deploy it? I mean, I don't know much about rubber life rafts, but I feel like that's allowed, right? Am I wrong? I've never seen one deploy, but I've seen enough in movies that I know it makes it go like poof, and it's like it pops out, the big thing. Like, I feel like I know that, even though I've never seen it before. I feel like everybody knows that. But anyways, that's the last like scene I'm gonna nitpick. Like I said, this will go on for an hour and a half if I nitpicked every little thing that I didn't like about the movie. But overall, I'll say the movie wasn't like terrible. I mean, everybody made it seem like it was the worst movie that was like ever made. It wasn't that bad. Like I kind of made it seem like it was that bad based on all that I've said. But ultimately, when the movie ended, I didn't feel like I wasted my time. I really felt like I actually enjoyed it, even though, like, when you watch a movie that's kind of like this, you kind of need to get out of your mind what your expectations are and just enjoy the movie for what it is. And you need to just expect, like, I know I complained about it, but the characters are going to do dumb shit. There's nothing you can do about it. Just enjoy the movie, enjoy the cool scenes with dinosaurs, enjoy the weird mutations, even though a lot of people say that they're ugly and they didn't really like them. Hey, you know what? It's new. I enjoyed it. Ultimately, this isn't a movie that's going to go down in history as one of the best movies that ever existed. It's not even going to be the best Jurassic World or Jurassic Park movie that ever existed, but it's a good movie. It's worth watching. And to answer the question of the title of this video, no, it's not as bad as everybody made it out to be. You just need to appreciate it for what it is and not what you're wanting and not what you expect. And I'll be one of the first people in line that says, like, I feel like I could make a better plot for this, like a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie. But like, I am not a writer and I'm never going to get that chance. But hey, they're making dinosaur movies and the CGI is at least good. So I'm not going to complain. But anyways, if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe. And also let me know what you guys thought of the movie. Is there anything that you disagree with what I said, or you agree with what I said, or anything that I missed out? Feel free to mention it in the comments. Also, let me know what movie I should review next. Anyways, thank you guys for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.